Hello everybody, I hope you all are doing very well. This is a small or a short video that goes over NetBeans and how to use NetBeans for writing a very simple Java program. So first off, let me take you to the page where I had downloaded NetBeans from, and this is http netbeans.org. You can click on the download and download the most recent version of NetBeans. As you can see, it is a IDE or an integrated development environment that can be used to write programming languages, which includes Java, JavaScript, HTML, and several others. It is free, open source, and has quite a bit of support from users and developers. So here is your download. So basically, if you click on download, you'll have to choose the platform, and in my case I am using a Java Standard Edition, so I can just click on download. But you also have other platforms that are available. As you can see, if you are doing HTML or PHP, you have a 32-bit versus a 64-bit. If you're doing C, C++, you have different ones, but for this particular one, I'm just going to be using this one to download. Once you click on download, you will pretty much follow the instructions to download the file and go ahead and set it up. It's a pretty simple installation. Now, I would also like to show you another thing which I found later on. I've already downloaded mine on my computer. It's this one that you can do from Oracle. So when you use Java, you have to download the Java Development Kit. And again, for the Java Development Kit, you have to choose the appropriate version. So this one is your 32-bit version, this one is your 64-bit version, and also it is available for Linux and Mac as well. But this one comes integrated with NetBeans. So you just have to click on your license and then choose the appropriate version and then download it directly from Oracle. So in order for you to run a Java program, you would need two things. You would need the JDK environment, which I have shown in a different video how to download the JDK, and then you would need a IDE or a text editor, and in this case we will be using the Java NetBeans. There are other editors that are available, for example JGrasp, Eclipse, NetBeans, and of course there are other TextPad. There are tons of other available free downloadable IDEs. So now let's get back to our NetBeans editor. So I'm going to click open the NetBeans editor. So once I click on the NetBeans editor, it is opening it up, and the version that I have downloaded, or the most recent version, is the 8.1 version. So the first time you start it up, it does take just a little longer because it's trying to open several modules, and this is how it looks. And you can, of course, this is your first phase, and you can pretty much go from here, close this one, and this is basically the NetBeans editor. So as you can see on your left, and this is pretty much a very standard view for most of the IDEs, you have on your left the hierarchy, or where are the files that you are working with, and it will show you if you have any included files inside, and also the hierarchy as to where it's been saved. And to the right is your editor. So if I want to open my, click on File, and I go to New Project, and I will choose my first Java project. So I'm going to be choosing Java. And here is my project name. Basically what project name would do is create a folder where I'm going to have all my projects. So in this case, if I say my Java application using NetBeans, and as you can see, my location, it is going to my users, my name, my documents, and my NetBeans project. Of course, you can browse it and choose a different folder completely. So if I want to, I just wanted to let me actually leave it the way it is. So it is right now in Java, my user, my documents, and my NetBeans project. And I can create a main class, or I can turn this one off. Okay, and then click on Finish, and that would create my new project. So as you can see over here on your left, you saw my project, which is nothing but a folder, and if you open up this, you will see a source package and a library. So at this point, if I go to my source package, right click on it and go to New, and then click on Java class. So now it's going to ask me to create a Java class, and remember, in Java my class name has to be the same name as my Java file. So I'm going to say my first NetBeans project, and of course you can name it however you would like to, but at the same time you would not want to create something which is too long, because it takes quite a bit to type in your file name. So at this point I can see that this is the name of my file. This is my where I'm storing it, which is my Java application using NetBeans project, and I'm going to click on Finish, and this is going to start my NetBeans. So on my left are my project hierarchy, and onto my right I have the code. Of course, it automatically comes with some code which are commented out. You can go ahead and write some code, and it is always a good practice to write some code or write some comments in here, and these are basically comments. So this is my first Java project using NetBeans as my IDE, and of course I can name it, and this is actually picking it up from my username, so I can say this, and now I have a public class, and this is my name of my Java file. So I'll start off with public static void main string argument, and I'll have my block created, and the blocks are basically created by opening a curly bracket and closing a curly bracket. Every single curly bracket that we open has to also have a closing or an ending one. You will see that if I do take one of it out, you will immediately see that there's an error that gets generated. And right now it's basically saying there's an error over here because it's not finding a closing one. So it is trying to associate this closing one with this one that we had opened earlier. So as you can see, I can always come in and add my curly bracket, which would close the opening curly bracket over here. Now if I want, I can also write my comment, which is something like opening main and this one is going to be closing main method, and this is going to be opening class, and this is closing class. So right now I have the shell created, and inside now let's type some simple print command, which is system.out.print. And as you can see, now this is something that I would like to point out just a little bit, and we will see more of these things. Since this is an IDE integrated development environment, it has a built-in library, it has a compiler, and also it has all these debugger built in, which allows you to just type in a part of your comment and it will prompt you for the available methods that are available. So in this case, I'm going to choose my print line. So if I do this, it will generate a empty print line. So I'm just going to type in saying this is my first Java program using NetBeans IDE. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and copy paste and add a few more lines of print statements, and I'm just going to change this one and say so far it is going okay. Another one saying this is the end of my first program. And again, let's not get into the details of the program as such, but just a simple Java program where I have some print statements. So as soon as I do this, I can come in, right click over here, and I can go to run file, and that would run my file, and this is my output that I just see from my program that I wrote above. Now this is not the only way of running the file. You can also run the file from here. Now sometimes if you want to run it from here, it might need some setup, but again, you know, with the new versions it might automatically be set up. So let's try first. But before I show you this run method, I also wanted to talk a little bit about these two tools that you see. So these are some icons. So this is building your project. This is also clean and build project, and this is also the run project. So let's try the run first, and it asks me if I want to select this particular main class, and in this case, yes, my first NetBeans project is the main class that I want to run, and if I say okay, and it just ran. So I'm looking for this build successful, and it gives me total of 0 seconds. Of course, if I do have an error, I would not get this build successful method, and it will give me an error. So let's try creating an error, and if I take something out, it first of all gives me an error, which is that little red button or balloon over here, and it also prompts you what is it expecting. So as you can see over here, if you click over here, it tells you what is it that it is expecting for you to do. So again, an example of how it will guide you in writing your program and help you debug your program. Now, these are some of the features that are available in this advanced integrated environment, which is nothing but an application package which has everything built in, which aids or helps programmers to write programs without having to remember and worry about small little errors. It will help you, guide you through the process, and point to the right code or the right error, and even suggest what would be a simple fix for that error. So at this point, even if I ignore this and try to run it, it will come back and say one or projects were compiled with error, and if I say run with error, and then it says no, this is actually running from the other one. So if I try running it over here, this will be my error that I get over here. Okay, So this is my error which says cancelled by user, build failed. The previous one that you actually saw was actually my previous run error that I was trying to run. So this one I said no, I do not want to run my prior one. I want to run this one, and this is why it says I have an error. Of course, if I now go back and correct it, I can run it and it will get the build successful. Thank you, and we will be posting or using NetBeans for writing more programs later on.